Yo, what is up, everybody? Chris here from FaZe Sports News, X Rotation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be bringing you guys a Major 1 preview. We have the bracket ready to go, but I'm also going to be doing play cracked picks. I'm going to do those off cam and then show you guys my finished picks. But I'll include those at the end, and I'll probably do like a separate recording and then include interesting parts. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but anyways, it'll be in here interspersed. But back to brass tacks. If you have not, make sure to join codstats.com. Of course, use code FSNChris, no space. Use my referral code so I get some sweet coin. And yeah, honestly, if you guys don't know, if you haven't watched all of the videos recently, I am currently at the top of the Playcrack leaderboards. I am number 1. Numero uno, that is me, sitting atop the leaderboards looking like Thanos, ready for a fade. Okay, last housekeeping thing that I will address. Partnership with COD Stats has been amazing. Been working with my homie Turnt, great guy, and we have been really making some improvements to the site. So one thing I did want to show you guys, I had made a suggestion that with series, if you watched the last video, you would know I went through and my boy Turnt has made some very amazing quality of life changes to the site. He added series MVPs just that quickly. Within one day, I talked to him yesterday. He made the change, and look at this. This looks amazing. Average KD, kills, deaths, damage, and then also the series. This is like the series ranking for the players. So, yeah, it shows who won, and then it also shows who is the leader on each team, who is the king of, each team's KD, basically. Best performer, most positive player. So, amazing. And then it shows the map MVP as well. So, as you guys can see, Abuz with a 1.5, Simp with a 2.17. Just amazing change here from Turnt. I know I'm super animated, but this is so exciting, especially going into Major 1. What a quality of life change, dude. This is why Turnt's my guy, man. Please, get on codstats.com, join the revolution with us. Small team over here, but we're really trying to make a difference in this community and give you guys the best options that we can. Yeah, I mean, he's doing amazing work. So please go show my boy Turnt some love. And without further ado, let me get into the next bit of housekeeping. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys real quick is this right here. Okay, so I partnered with some of my homies, as you guys may remember from last season during Black Ops 6. In my personal server, we did prize picks, and we won a lot. So, little plug, if you guys like DFS, if you play, one of my good friends, actual sub to the channel, one of the first, Beyond, my GOAT, this is my homie. He makes amazing picks. So if you guys do NBA and all that other stuff, he's your guy. He doesn't make a ton of picks. He's very selective, but he wins a lot. And yeah, if you're just like a regular bettor and you're looking to win some bucks, go rock with my boy. And yeah, definitely pull up to the map control server. I will link it down below. I think it's a WAP link down there. So if you guys are interested in signing up, then definitely hit that up. And yeah, I'll be in the server. I'm a moderator, and I post in here from time to time in the COD channel with my boy. So yeah, if you want my picks, that's where I will be playing them and broadcasting them. I don't do it in my server anymore or on this channel. So if you want that, there is a specific place. Partner with some of my friends, and we have this here. So please come rock with us if you feel, like you want to. So without further ado, all the housekeeping is done. The floors have been swept. The dishes have been washed. The house is quite clean and kept. Let's get into Major 1, predicting the bracket. As you guys know, I've been saying ever since this season started, the parity in the Call of Duty League is at the highest that we've ever seen. We have never seen the competition have a razor's edge of difference like it does at the current moment, right? Any of these teams could win realistically, sparing Surge and Cloud9. Those guys are ass cheeks on a stick, alright? So, kick things off at 1:30 with Paris Gentlemates taking on Toronto Koi. If you guys remember, they did play last week, right? They played on Friday. Second match of the day after OpTic Texas was dethroned by the Carolina Royal Ravens. And of course, this went the way of the Gentlemates in a very closely contested Game 5. So we do have a recent result to look at and compare. just as a quick thing, I'm not going to make this super long, but I do want to go in depth with the head-to-head. I do think that we will see probably a Colossus run back. I think Blackheart will be in here this time. I don't think they'll play Scar again. The Gentlemates have not been looking their best on Scar recently. So I think they veto Scar here because obviously it's a great look for the Toronto Koi. Den might get through. Both teams are good on Den. I favor the Paris Gentlemates, so I still see Koi banning that most likely. And then I see Colossus and Blackheart getting through next time. So, with that in mind, with Colossus and Blackheart getting through, I think that Toronto probably will be really good on Blackheart. I think that the Paris Gentlemates will win the, of course, Colossus, right? That's usually their map. I think the Overload is going to be the difference maker here. Definitely an interesting one because, as you guys probably saw, the Paris Gentlemates did not look good in the Overload on Den against Toronto Koi, but I do probably think we get an exposure Overload instead. Usually when a team doesn't do well, especially the higher seeded team, they have the preference in the way that the maps go with choosing Team B or Team A. So I see Paris Gentlemates being very, very judicious in their decision to choose a different exposure Overload that gives them a little bit more of a look that they like. And they definitely like that exposure Overload. It's so hard. Those two things sound so similar in my mind. I don't know why. Anyways, Paris Gentlemates, I feel like they get an exposure Overload in here. And I think in the S&D, I think Paris Gentlemates is just better. So I'm going to say Paris Gentlemates get a 3-2. I think they start off their LAN campaign, you know, reasserting themselves as the #1 seeded team in this game currently. I mean, by a hair, right? And then in our next matchup, we have another rematch from this weekend. Of course, that being the last matchup of, well, the second to last matchup of Sunday. We saw the Carolina Royal Ravens, Carolina Exceeds, post-time skip Exceeds, whatever you want to call them, dropping their balls on the LA Thieves, pardon my French. Exceed at a 1.68, Nero 2.5, and then Hydra 1.71 in the Overload, and Abizi, Den, Hardpoint was standout. Colossus was all Exceed. So, back and forth series, as you guys can see in the box score here, right? I mean, it was a great, great matchup, but I do think that the LA Thieves right the ship here. Even though Carolina's looked phenomenal, it just looked like in the back half when the LA Thieves got the maps that were favorable to them, you know, you get a Den in there. I just don't like Carolina's chances. I feel like LA Thieves, honestly, they really trolled with the map set here. Letting the Blackheart through felt like an experimental play. Definitely the raid was a call for them, right? But you can see the Scar, one of their more common bread and butter maps, dominated on Den. I feel like they're probably the best Den team in the game. Another one that went their way, of course. And the Colossus, I believe, was Raven's pick. So, yeah, I think LA Thieves, I don't know, man. I feel like they'll probably veto Blackheart next time. And if they do, I feel like the rest of the map pool is pretty open for them, right? You have to figure on exposure. They look pretty decent. Den, they typically look pretty good. So everything but Blackheart feels like somewhat good for LA Thieves, and that's why I think that they'll get the series win here. Now, I will offer the caveat that the Carolina Royal Ravens have looked very good in exposure. I'm sorry, exposure. I keep saying that. Overload pretty consistently, but the LA Thieves here, I mean, they have the head-to-head, right? So you have to expect that they probably keep that similar pressure game plan and probably get a similar result. And then in the S&Ds, I'm going to say it's probably a toss-up. I think the teams likely win each other's maps. If not, then they win their maps. But I feel like it's probably going to be a trade where each team wins the map that their opponent chose. So I think that's why it's a Game 5 for LA Thieves. I think they book their ticket to Saturday. Yeah, I just don't... I mean, honestly, I want to bank on the Ravens upset, but it's the first event of the year, right? Like, it's very likely that they do make the upset. But honestly, I mean, Scrap, Kenny with his resurgence, Abizi's been playing much better, Hydra's been playing much better, the confidence is looking to be there for the LA Thieves. That's why I have them getting over the hump and taking down the Royal Ravens. But I do have the Royal Ravens as a very formidable team. I think they'll make a run. Now, speaking of teams they'll probably make a run, we have the Riyadh Falcons taking on OpTic Texas at their home event. And even though they have the home event cheese on their side, I'm just not so sure what to think of OpTic. You know, like, let's look at their LA Thieves series and blow that up just for a quick second. See what it looked like in the box score, right? 250, 216 on exposure HP. The first thing I'll say about OpTic Texas, their success right now is very much map dependent, right? Their map pool is as shallow as a kiddie pool in, I don't know, Antarctica, right? Like, it's pure ice. Like, they have a couple maps, like, maybe. Exposure, Hardpoint has been looking good, but everything else in exposure has not been looking the best for OpTic. I mean, their S&Ds have been pretty scrappy. I mean, they've looked pretty good on Raid. Scar they've typically looked pretty good on, but no Den here was definitely a troll. I think if you're OpTic, you want to see a lot of Dens. Honestly, the Riyadh Falcons will probably let you play a lot of those Dens because that's a map that they love as well. They've had a lot of success on Den themselves. So, yeah, honestly, guys, let's just go to one of my favorite features of the site, the comparison page. Let's compare Riyadh Falcons and OpTic Texas right here, okay? So, Riyadh has 50 total points, OpTic 40, blah, 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 blah. Dominance rating, this is another advanced metric that I love from my boy Turnt. So, map win-loss ratio indicate dominant teams. Elite teams typically have 2.0. So, strength index, consistency rating, closing power, ability to close out series when leading. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So, looking at it, the Riyadh Falcons honestly look to be the stronger team in all metrics right at the current moment. Even though OpTic did 3-0 them in their last played series, looking at it, yeah, Riyadh's just been the more dominant team. It's quite interesting. Let's look at the players. Oh, well, okay, well, we're looking at the teams. But anyways, 57%. You know, I'm just going to be emotional. I'm going to go at their home event. Mercules, Dashy, Shotzi, Hook. I really want to book the upset because this game has been so upset ready and so upset like heavy, right? But I just can't in good faith say the OpTic's going to lose at home. Even though they've looked up and down, they're still 4-3. They've won more than they've lost. Recent form can always be corrected with the right review, especially with JP and Karma. That coaching staff, they're so locked in. They're so, you know, thorough and just smart. I feel like OpTic will fix things. So, yeah, I'm going to say Game 5 OpTic here. Home event, you kind of have to go with that, right? Speaking of things you have to go with, let's definitely check this one out because, as you guys may remember, Minnesota G2 took down FaZe 3-1. It was a very close series in the back half. Of course, Caesar Skies called game. But, you know, G2, this is where their resurgence started. They took down FaZe, and then they took down Koi, and they 3-0'd Koi. So, G2 is looking very, very good. They're looking dangerous. Koi. FaZe is also looking very good, but I think this is a matchup thing. Honestly, let's look a little bit deeper here. Simp had a really bad game, too. Went to round 11. He was 1-9, so uncharacteristically bad game from him. Draws had a .85 in map 1. The map 3 difference maker was the fact that Simp and 04 had uncharacteristically bad games. Game 4, everybody got kind of put in a dumpster bag. So yeah, uncharacteristic series from FaZe, I guess you could say. I mean, you're not going to have Simp dropping 1-9 consistently, especially not when you get to LAN, and he's coming in as the #1 ranked player in the game, I believe. I saw that on the broadcast. I don't know if that was cap. Oh, he's the #1 player in the world right now. Overall, he's the #1 player in the world, and Abuza's #2. Oh, yeah, easy choice. Oh, it's movie time! Yeah, 3-1 FaZe. We're going to say Atlanta FaZe. God damn it, Atlanta FaZe. FaZe Vegas. Sorry for cursing again, guys. I'm trying to keep it clean. But, yeah, we're going to say FaZe Vegas book their ticket to Saturday, where we will see that OpTic versus FaZe rivalry reignite, hopefully. Now, speaking of where we will see rivalries reignite, hopefully we will get another round 1 losers matchup between the Carolina Royal Ravens and the Vancouver Surge. Feels like this happens quite a lot, which is probably why it won't happen, right, Christopher? So, yeah, I mean, all things considered, 3-0. That's what I'm expecting. Maybe they feel like Tej. Tej goes crazy on LAN. Barstool boys are there cheering him on. Maybe Jersey Jerry's there. gets a Jersey Jerry buff. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to say 3-1 Carolina Royal Ravens, and I think that's where Tej and Vancouver book their flight back to well, I mean, they're staying in state. I think everybody's in Texas at this point. So I think that's where those guys go back to their apartments pretty much. I think this is a local event for pretty much most of the teams in the league because most of the teams are based in Texas. So yeah, the flight jokes are probably not going to be too plentiful here. Yeah, so speaking of flight jokes, we have the Toronto Koi taking on the Miami Heretics. Ooh! If y'all know the off-season drama, you know this is one to really salivate over. We have to hope that this one comes to fruition because if you guys don't know, Real was stolen from the Miami Heretics at 2 in the morning. He had a verbal contract with the Miami Heretics to re-sign for this current season. Sorry, I'm smacking the table to emphasize how serious this is. But he had a contract verbally committed. And as you guys know, I work in the law. Verbal commitments are not worth the shit that comes out your ass all over them, you know? Verbal commitments mean absolutely nothing. So, nothing ventured, nothing gained there. But it is scandalous that the guy played for the team for a whole season, right? And then left in the middle of the night for their actual org's rival. Heretics and Koi in Spain is basically like, how would I describe it? It's like Yankees Red Sox, or it's like UNC versus Duke, or what's another one? OpTic versus FaZe. Envy versus OpTic. It's like a serious rivalry. So, this is a grudge match. This is absolutely going to Game 5, and Miami Heretics, I'm going to say vamos for my boy Dempsey. I have them getting the upset here. I think Insight and Real, I just don't like... do I book the boys getting their sweet revenge on Real for leaving? I mean, they're all boys. They're not mad. They were appreciative that Real tried to look out for them. I'm creating fake drama. But I don't know, man. Koi, they've been on a downtick. In Miami, they've looked good. They had an embarrassing loss to Paris Gentlemates, but they were right there with Gentlemates. They were, you know, taking their hardest blows. They were dealing some blows back. I feel like Miami's going to have a lot of pressure in this series. I really do. I feel like Trakes is going to be on one. I feel like Metal's going to be on one. You know, I never do this kind of thing, but I'm going to book a crazy upset round one, guys. I'm going to say Miami Heretics lock it in, get it done over the Toronto Koi. Hopefully this ages well. I'm going to go with the Vamos. I'm going to say Miami. They get their get back. They get their lick back. They get their revenge for Real being stolen in the middle of the night. And I think that's why they make it to a totally different fight against the Carolina Royal Ravens. Now, let's move on to the next series that we would be seeing, which would be either OpTic or Riyadh Falcons taking on Cloud9 New York. I mean, right? Click, click, click. That's the extent of my analysis of that series. You know. So, let's do a comparison for G2 and Boston, because I do want to compare the two head-to-head before I make a prediction, because both are kind of in weird places. G2's on an uptick. Boston's in a really weird place. They're definitely not on a downturn, but they're also not on an uptick. They just are kind of treading water at the moment. I favor G2 just because G2 is going to have the experience of playing FaZe on LAN. They're going to really shake off that ring rust, if you will, to use a boxing analogy, and just kind of get back to square one. So I do think G2 win this, but I just want to look at the insights that this will provide, this match page, to see if there's any clear differences between these two teams. So strength index for G2 is quite a bit higher, but the consistency for Boston Breach is definitely higher. Closing power for, okay, G2 is positive, Breach is in the neg. Momentum score is 5. Right, okay. So yeah, I think, yeah, I love this website, dude. You were a goat. You were a fucking goat, dude. This website's amazing. I mean, dude, this guy, dude, come on. This guy's sharp, man. He even has the form predictions. Come on, this guy's insane. I mean, this website is, come on, guys. Give him his flowers. This man, give him all the praise and adulation that he deserves, please. Like, let's get some Turns the Goat comments down here. If anybody's watching this far in, please, Turns the Goat in the comments down below, because this man is, wow, BTA. Speaking of BTA, I think the Carolina exceeds. I think this is where the Miami Heretics Vamos turns to a whatever stop is in Spanish. It's escaping me right now. And yeah, I think Carolina Royal Ravens, like Max Holloway, they're going to be like, Aki, middle of the ring right now, and they're going to knock him out. So yeah, I think it'll be a 3-1 for the Carolina Royal Ravens. I feel like their respawn is just in the S tier right now, and Miami, I feel like their respawn is in the A tier. So I feel like Carolina will just have a little bit of an edge, and I think that's why they get a pretty convincing win here. Now, speaking of teams I think are going to get pretty convincing wins, I feel like G2 versus Riyadh is going to be a real scrap. A real scrap, a fracas, whatever you want to call it, drag out, barroom brawl, buried alive match, whatever analogy, Hell in a Cell, steel cage match, tables, ladders, and chairs, whatever, slobber knocker, any of them. I feel like it's going to be all that, and a bag of chips. So we're going to say 3-2 for the Riyadh Falcons. I feel like they take their chips, Bread takes his chips, and he puts them down on the table, goes all in, and I think he hits big, ladies and gents. So, I think Riyadh Falcons take down G2 to get to elimination round 3, where they will be awaiting the winner, or excuse me, the loser of, I believe, this matchup, right? I think that person flips to the other half of the bracket, and then you would get either the current LA team or the former LA team facing off against the Falcons. Now, in this matchup between the Gentlemates and LA Thieves, they did play recently, and Gentlemates won. Let's do a comparison to see which team is favored on most of the advanced metrics, and we'll go with that, because you know what? Turnt is my GOAT. I'm going to rock with him. So Gentlemates is heavily favored here, 62%. Map record, win-loss, obviously way better. Map win rate, everything's better. Gentlemates has had better form. So, expected wins. Okay. Over, underperform. Okay. Actual wins minus expected wins, positive, lucky, clutch, negative. Underperforming, unlucky. Okay, so the Gentlemates, wow. So it's saying that the LA Thieves are a very lucky team, but the Gentlemates are not. Even though the Gentlemates dominate in every other category, the LA Thieves are a much luckier team. That's something to consider. LA Thieves are a better search and destroy team marginally, and marginally are a better overload team, but they've won one, as have the Paris Gentlemates, but both teams had... Okay, Thieves played Ravens and they stomped them in Overload, which points to them potentially just having a good map on Den or making necessary improvements. And the Gentlemates, their last series was against Koi? No, their last series was against Miami. So they beat Miami in Overload. Miami's a decent enough Overload team. The hard point, they are dominant, 10-2. That's going to make a big difference. You'd have to figure that they're probably going to win both hard points, so that gives them 2 maps edge. S&D for the LA Thieves has been, yeah, we're going to rock with Gentlemates. I was really thinking about it, but I just needed to be talked into rocking with LA Thieves. We're going to say it goes 5 just because LA Thieves are LA Thieves. I mean, Scrap, Kenny, Hydra, and BZ, like, you have to figure those guys probably go to 5, but right now I'm going to rock with the Paris Gentlemates because they look to be probably the most consistent team in the game, along with FaZe and Riyadh, so I'm going to favor them. They haven't really had any massive dips in form where it's like, man, I'm really worried about Gentlemates. I worried about them after their most recent loss, but after that they really righted the ship and proved that they have some maps in their map pool that are not favorable to them, but they can pretty much win any map that's put in front of them, and they're pretty strong in all game modes. Even though they are 5-5 in S&D and 3-4 in Overload, their hardpoint's been carrying. So hardpoint is definitely going to get you very far as long as your S&D and your Overload are serviceable, which it is for the Paris Gentlemates. And against top tier teams, I figure that they're going to play up in those modes and really showcase how good they are as a team. So that's why I'm very confident in their ability to get the win here. Now, looking at recent form, let's actually compare these two teams head to head, because I feel like the only way to really know how this is going to go is based on advanced metrics. Because these two teams did recently play, right, as we know, and FaZe got a hot 3-0 over OpTic. So, let's look at FaZe Vegas versus our defending 2025 CDL World Champs, defending EWC 2025 Champs, and hosts of Major 1, OpTic Texas. So, obviously, FaZe is dominating in points and everything else. Dominance rating, what does this take into account? Map win-loss ratio. Okay. Elite teams typically have 2.0 plus. Okay. Clutch factor. There's a 9? Oh my god. Momentum scores at 30. Closing power is at 80.86. Oh my god, that is a high rating. 86%? Okay. Alright, buddy. Wow. Wow. So this just comes down to how I feel OpTic is going to look on the day, right? FaZe is on a 2 hardpoint win streak. They played Surge in, and they 3-0'd them. And then the series before that, they played, who else? Who did they play before that? It's fine. I think we're not going to read too much into this. We're going to say Game 5 for FaZe. They have all the advanced metrics on their side. I'm just using COD stats to inform all my 50-50 calls. And if I feel like the players might turn up that day, I'll just do it, you know. If I get that feeling, no Marvin Gaye, you know, not singing that song. Yeah, I just call something crazy. When I get that feeling, I just call something crazy. Yeah, so let's move on to the next series, which would be LA Thieves taking on the Riyadh Falcons, if all things go according to my grand plan here. Whew, this will be an interesting one. Of course, this is the inverse of the Park the Bus Cheese series, right? We saw the former LA team getting hit with it, the Paris Gentlemates that being. And yeah, now we'll see the Riyadh Falcons taking on the LA Thieves. Sully and Pred, Exon, and Kismet versus Abizi, Hydra, Scrap, and Kenny. This will be a quite interesting one. Let's look at the advanced stats. Obviously, the advanced stats are going to favor Riyadh, right? Because they're just one of the top 3 teams in the table currently. So all the advanced stats are going to most likely go their way. Over underperformance, expected wins, point series. Closing power, wow. LA Thieves' closing power is still mind-blowing to me. I mean, you expect Abizi, Hydra, Kenny, and Scrap, of all players, to be high closeout like players, right? Especially in a game like this, it's very fundamentally sound. So this is all just going to come down to, like, gut feel. Oh, wow. Wow, Riyadh's Search and Destroy is pretty elite. 6-3, 5-2 in Overload. Yeah, wow. Damn. Okay. Yeah, we're going to say Game 5 Riyadh. Wow, 6-3 in S&D is quite impressive. I mean, wow. And the Overload being 5-2, damn, you're winning a lot. And they had a pretty serious schedule. They played OpTic, they played Mates, they beat both teams in Overload. So, I mean, they're the real deal. Let's take the Riyadh Falcons to eliminate round 4, which would mean that the last matchup of the day would be OpTic Texas taking on Carolina Royal Ravens. They would finally get their hands on Exceed once again, and honestly, Exceed embarrassed the absolute mother-loving crap out of these brothers. So I think they want their get back. I think they get their get back at home. Drum Cheese, last match of the day Cheese, only played 2 matches that day Cheese, whatever they want to call it. I think they get a dub. I think they take that momentum from winning that Winners Round 1 series, losing to FaZe. I think the roller coaster continues another upwards trajectory. And then they come down to face the Riyadh Falcons to start off Championship Sunday at their home major. I mean, not having the Falcons or OpTic Texas in your top 4 at the current moment, it's understandable not have OpTic in there, but if you don't have Falcons in there, I don't know what you're doing, bro. So I think elimination round 4 starts with OpTic Texas taking on the Riyadh Falcons. I think that OpTic Texas... Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, I feel like these boys went head-to-head, didn't they? Let's go to Texas's page. Yes, they did. They 3-0'd them to start the year. Oh, this could be a get-back series. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ooh. What am I thinking is going to happen on Sunday? Lick back. Oh, the storylines if they send them home on Sunday at their own event. Nah, I think Riyadh. We're booking it. We're going with it. Pred sends OpTic home the year after they drop him. Nah, pure cinema. That's peak cinema, bro. It has to happen. We're locking this in, guys. We're locking it in. Absolutely. Salutely. We're locking it in. And who do I think meets the Riyadh Falcons in the lower bracket? Gentlemates is 10-2 in hardpoint. FaZe are on a ringer right now. Simp and Abuza are the #1 and #2 ranked players in the game. Gentlemates, their form has been all over the place. 3-4 in Overload. 5-5 in S&D and 10-2 in hardpoint. Ah, man, but FaZe had that loss to G2. This game, the parity is making it so hard to make calls. Lord Jesus. All right, let's go to the COD stats page. Let's go to the comparison tool, and let's see what it tells us. What insights can you give us, oh Magic Conch? 62% on both sides. But it looks like Mates is favored. Dominance rating is higher. Clutch factor for FaZe is through the roof. But Gentlemates is right there with them. It's quite close. Dominance rating is close. Average map wins per series. Gentlemates is significantly higher. Strength index is a point off. Less than a point off. It's 0.96 difference. Consistency rating. It's about 0.5. Damn, this is very close. Closing power is a difference maker here. Momentum score is a difference maker here. It's looking like a Gentlemates win. Mate win. More losses. Slightly. Everything is very close. It's so close. The difference maker here is the momentum score and the closing power. But they have the best player in the world on FaZe, bro. The two best players in the world. I think Abuza and Simp on LAN, I think they're going to have a moment. Also, we have to remember, 04 and Abuza are probably going to be in a trance on this weekend. They've never won an event. They're like 0-12 in finals. They made 1-16 in finals maps? They made 4 finals last year. They won 0 of them. They got 4-0'd, I think, twice. They maybe won 5 maps in grand finals. No, Abuza, 04, they might 3-0 these guys. I mean, I feel like they're going to be on a mission this weekend. If they don't bow out early and just have, like, the ultimate shutdown of all shutdowns, I feel like they win this event. These guys have never won an event. They have the biggest chip on their shoulder of anyone in the league. Everyone on Mates, with the exception of Neptune, has won an event. Envoy's won champs. I mean, Ghosty won 2 last year. Sibs won 2 in his career. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like FaZe win that. I feel like with Simp being at the form that he's in, the form that he is, the only thing that could stop them, is Draza, right? If Draza plays badly, I feel like that will be a big problem for FaZe. But I feel like he'll play well. I feel like he'll be enough of a contributor, especially in these late series on Sunday, to get the dub. So, we'll see Paris Gentlemates taking on the Riyadh Falcons. And wow. Mates Overload versus Falcons Overload. Park the bus, cheese. Oh, this could be Get Back. Oh my god. Yeah, we have to script this. We have to script this. Vicious Get Back from Sib after the Park the bus, cheese. Finally beats Pred. He's literally never beaten Pred since they split up. Not a single time has he ever beaten Pred. This is the moment. This is where it happens. All the stars will align. The storylines will come to fruition. And in the grand finals, we have 75% of the Vancouver Surge team from Black Ops 6 that famously made 4 grand finals, including EWC grand finals and COD Champs grand finals, did not win a single one. I think this time, though, I think it'll be different. I feel like FaZe, I feel like they get 4. I feel like the Gentlemates get 3. I think we have a Game 7, maybe around 11. Well, no. Gentlemates are not that good in S&D. I think FaZe win the S&Ds. I think that's the difference maker here. Their Overload, I believe, is pretty good as well. Let's pull that back up. Let's look at the head-to-head for the grand finals. So, FaZe's Overload slightly better. Their S&D's leagues and bounds better than the Gentlemates. So Gentlemates probably take the hard points in the grand finals. FaZe probably take the S&Ds and the Overloads, and that's probably how they win. Or they take 1 HP, probably like the Exposure, something along those lines. Not as great at Den. And then the Gentlemates probably take the other HPs, and then FaZe probably sweep the S&Ds and maybe take an overload. So, yeah, I think that's how that goes down. I think that's how we get a Game 7 victory for FaZe. The second back-to-back Major 1 win for them. So we would have had back-to-back Call of Duty World Champs, right? Then we would have had back-to-back Major 1 winners if this all comes to fruition. I really didn't want to have FaZe as my eventual winner. But honestly, after looking at the metrics and everything, I just really like this FaZe team. I mean, like let's look at the overall standings, right? I'm sorry, for the overall players. We have Simp and Abuza as number 1 and number 2 in the KD rankings, right? But Ghosty is the only mates player in the top 10. Neptune, you have to go all the way to 12 before you get to Neptune. I mean, we're not making stats everything, but that does tell you quite something, right? 04 is in the top 20, so you have 3 players from one team in the top 20. No other team can say that. Well, actually, Koi can say that as well. Real, Insight, and Joe Deceives are all in the top 20. So, yeah, I think this weekend is going to be absolutely amazing. If you guys have not, be sure to watch some highlights from earlier in the stage. If you missed anything, if you want recaps of any of the matches like Mates versus FaZe, etc., etc. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say on these videos. Hope you enjoy all the COD action. Don't forget to check out COD stats. Check out map control if you want some esports picks and things of that nature. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Once again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News, Exploitation. However the flip you know me in this interview, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.